All right, welcome to my tutorial on how to make a muffin tray. We have two different options. You have a 6-cup muffin tray that'll hold 6 muffin or muffin cups. Or we have one that is a 4-cup muffin and will only hold 4 of these muffin cups. You can use either which one you want. So you'll need a template. You will need a muffin cup template as well. And you'll need some grogged clay. It is really important that you use grogged clay. Grog will allow for thermal expansion when you put this muffin tray in your oven. If you don't have grog in your clay, it will not work. Your pan will kind of start to crack. So make sure you're using the right clay. It's a grogged clay, and I have it put away so it doesn't get confused. So when you start this project, please ask me to give you the bag of grogged clay. You will need a grog sponge. This is different than our regular yellow sponges. The yellow sponge will bring the grog, which is kind of a gritty sand, to the surface, and it won't feel very good. So make sure you use this mud tool grog sponge. This is really important as well. Besides that, you will need a rubber tip tool. You will need a knife. You will need a serrated rib and a rubber rib, whether it's a yellow or a red, either one. You will need a soft paintbrush. You're going to also need, of course, some water, a texture roller, or a texture mat. Either one is fine. A banding wheel is a very good idea, so you might want to grab yourself a banding wheel, a small wear board, and, of course, your circular cookie cutters. So, you're going to need a 3.5 and a 2, a 3 and a 2, and I've labeled these. I'm not sure how long these tape pieces are going to stay on here, but you're going to need a 3 and a 2.5. There's a bunch of different ones of these. I've got metal ones also. The metal ones are labeled on the actual metal. So a 3, 2.5, same as 2.5. And you will also need your clay, which is about 7 pounds of clay slabbed out. You're going to need your clay to be fairly soft. That's important. It's got to be pliable, so make sure you don't let it dry out too much. You want to roll your clay slab out and then let it sit for about maybe 15-20 minutes, and you can begin. I'm going to start by grabbing my clay slab that I've got over here to the side, and got 2 of them, so one of them is a little softer than the other. Go ahead and start here. I rolled these out about 2 days ago and wrapped it in plastic, so right now it's still really, really soft. This guy down here, and I just want to make sure that I'm going to have enough space for my template, which is perfect. So I'm going to do the 6-cup muffin tray today, and of course, as always, you're going to your clay with a yellow rib, always making sure that you clean off the edge. You want to go in different directions. Remember that when you prep your clay, you're not pushing down. You don't want to thin this clay out. All you're doing is making sure that your texture is gone and that it's been compressed slightly, but not much. If you have a little air bubble or a little hole like this, all you got to do is fill it. So I usually pull it off from the edge, bring it on in there. If it's an air bubble, just pop it with a needle tool and then fill it and compress. That's one of the beautiful things about clay. It's pretty forgiving. All right, and again, this is grogged clay. All right, that's pretty good. A little bit more here. I'm going to flip it and do it again on the other side. Different directions always. Notice I'm using the yellow sponge right now, but that's only because I'm cleaning off my rib. I'm not putting my yellow sponge on my grog clay. We're using the same clay we use in the studio, B-Mix, Cone 5. It's just got grog in it. It's the only difference. I've got some staining in here, but that's just because I rolled it out on a board that had glaze on it. So there we go. All right. Next thing is you're going to need a texture of some kind. So I was debating between these daisies, but that is a good thickness. I'm also debating using this matte, which is really fun. And this is the kind of thinking, like pre-thinking I do. Measure just to see if it's going to work. I think I'm going to use this. I haven't used this in a while, so I'm going to say my template is going to fit right here. I might even be able to get two. No, I don't think so. So I'm going to roll this texture in. It doesn't really matter which direction. So I'm going to start here. I like to use the small end of my roller. And I roll the texture into the clay. I don't want to go fully to the edge because I don't want this line to show. So I'm going to try to not go to the edge. You can see that as I'm rolling my texture in, the clay is stretching a little bit and getting a little bit thinner. And before I continue, I want to make sure that this is transferring well, so I'm going to give it a little lift and check it out. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Pull it off. And I'm going to continue up here. Again, I'm not going to roll to the edge because I don't want that seam to show. Take a peek, and that looks pretty good. All right. Might have to roll some more. Yep. I do. Just trying to line up some of this texture, but it doesn't matter too much. Just going to go for it. I do like the smaller side of the roller. And again, please remember, don't roll to the edge. This is way more textured clay than I need, but I can use my extras for mug toppers, spoon rests, magnets, lots of different things you can do with this clay. It never goes to waste when it's got beautiful texture in it, for sure. Alright, we're almost there. Again, you want your clay to be not straight off the slab roller, but you do want it to be soft. So I would say roll it out on the slab roller, let it dry 15-20 minutes, and then you can use it. After you roll texture, you always have to make sure to release your clay from the board. So release half, the other half, otherwise it's going to stay stuck to your wear board and you don't want that. Okay, so I'm done with this, and I'm ready. Go ahead and start cutting. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to continue rolling my texture through this whole thing. There's kind of a little bald spot right here, so I'm going to just kind of maybe even push in with my finger. There we go. The reason I'm going to continue rolling through my entire slab is because I am going to want my muffin cups to have texture as well. So I'm going to go ahead and continue filling this whole slab that I rolled out. There we go. Almost. All right, cool. And because I rolled some more texture, I'm going to lift. All right, so my clay got pretty skinny. It got pretty skinny just doing that, so I have to be careful building this. And now we're ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and lay this on here, and we're going to start cutting our template out. So that is the prep.